final masterclass of the year. And please continue to do a lot of engagement with the speaker as well. He is going to be giving us a serious deep dive into branding of Cashew. And Dr. G.V. Suresh is a seasoned management professional, a cultural anthropologist, and a business leader with over 3 decades of experience over IT, various product lines and service sectors. Presently, he serves as the managing partner of Anthrolabs Research, a management consulting firm, and previously he's held positions as director and GM at Dell Asia Pac. Suresh has played key roles in organization development, management strategy and change management. With a doctorate in business anthropology from the University of Madras and an alumnus of IIM Bangalore, he blends business insight with human behavior to drive impactful outcomes in the fast evolving environments. He advises several NGOs and corporates across India, and he was instrumental in bringing new people strategies like work from home concept, insurance for parents in India, alternate Friday offs in HR, and many such path-breaking best corporate practices. Today, as he talks to us about Cashew branding, please try and derive maximum value out of this session, because only an organization like AICA can get you such celebrated, acclaimed professionals onto this august podium. Let's give him a resounding, robust welcome, please.
Good afternoon. I am delighted. I'm happy to be here. And for that, I thank Mr. Kalbavi and Tukaram for ensuring my presence here. My association with Cashew is extremely very less. But at the same time, my association with sales and marketing, branding, finding new geographies, introducing new products, people structuring, and organization structuring is predominantly good. I started my career with an NGO that is all of you must be knowing, because majority is from Karnataka. There is an NGO called Myrada. How many of you know it? See, Myrada is a Mysore Resettlement and Development Agency, which was founded in 60s. And they resettled 50,000 Tibetan families in India, including Dalai Lama, from Himachal to Karnataka, Tamil Nadu border. So they have all settled well, 2 lakh in numbers, population. And they are part of India, and though they are citizens of their country. At the same time, they have contributed to the economic growth, peace, and success of this country. So I started my career with Myrada, which was in fact instrumental in creating self-help groups as such. So with that, I evolved in IT. I have worked for a predominant big brand called Shriram. And finally, I run my own consulting firm. So my consulting firm, Anthrolabs Research, Bangalore, we are based at Bangalore. We had an offices in California and Singapore, which is right now not there after post-COVID. And this is 3 years old company, which provides a spectrum of activities that includes people, growth strategy, and sales and marketing strategy. We do research and focus on culture and business strategy excellences to family business, SMEs, and also corporates. We have also done some work for NITE, Bangalore, since you all majority come from NITE. I do have an excellent association with them. And we have worked for brands like Shriram, Toshiba, oil companies, sleep plans, and so on, and an MNC called Shoretel, and so on. We have done a lot of work for cafes and tea companies, small companies, and we have also done some good work for those days in association with my professor for CCD and KFC. I just want you to understand my background so that whatever I speak is selling here. So how anthropological, what is anthropology? Many think that what is anthropology, and many do not know what is anthropology. So I am compelled to give some insights about anthropology too here. So anthropology is study of man and mankind. Anthropology has three different, what do you call, verticals. One is physical anthropology, which studies about how man has evolved himself. The number two is socio-cultural anthropology, which talks about the social and human behavior, social and cultural behavior of the man in relationship with his own kind and also with the society. And the third, which is the biggest one, predominant one. And the third one is the archaeological anthropology, which talks about the historical past of human being. So among these things, socio-cultural anthropology is quite powerful, quite modern, at the same time quite, application oriented. In fact, if you understand, Britishers sent anthropologists first to India before they conquered us. Not only to India, to all over the world, wherever they had conquered. We had anthropologists first to understand how we operate as culture, how we behave, and what are our needs, intentions, and based on which the governance is also prescribed. So anthropology into business is what we are going to talk about here, which is also a leg of socio-cultural anthropology, under which we have business anthropology today, which is evolved modern anthropology. You might have seen that all the applications, for example, user experience research is one of the words which is prominent in today's business world. So that user experience research is the result of anthropology, and market research with a qualitative approach is also a result of anthropology, that is social cultural anthropology. Companies like those who use anthropologists are, number one, for example, today, in today's world, it is Google, then you have Xerox, you have Apple, you have Starbucks, you have all the top companies, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and so on. So what do they do, anthropologists do today? What we think, anthropologists, is that rapid fluctuations and dynamic changes in the business and economy. Please understand, not just the business, it is also the economy of the area, geography, or the country, and also the domain that you are playing in. For example, I'll call it as Cashew economy, Indian economy, and the world economy related to Cashew economy, and so on. And you need to understand the cultural flavors. Despite the economy or the governance models are different, you may be doing extremely well. For example, you can see the beer industry, the liquor industry in Karnataka, otherwise in Bangalore, in that particular geography, is extremely doing well irrespective of whatever nonsense happens in governance or geography or economy of people. Of course, it is related to a certain extent to the macroeconomy, but at the same time, beyond that, they are doing extremely well. Why are they doing well is the question. So, this is what we study and we try to understand and we prescribe. So how best the local communities can adapt to these changes or adjust to these changes and do well is what an anthropologist's role. And we focus on the culture. For example, in Cashew, you will be seeing that like how culture plays a major role for us to sell cashew, produce cashew, and also position cashew. How culture is key to business. Business anthropology, which is the latest, which comes under applied anthropology and developmental anthropology, and which is an arm of social cultural anthropology, is equipped with qualitative and participative. See, this is very important for us. In fact, when I missed Mr. Kalbavi, I said like I would love to come to your place, even visit others' factories, understand what it is. And we spent predominant time in the evenings whenever we came to Bangalore to just go to the shops and understand how the cashew is being bought and sold. And then I realized that Bangalore is not the place I should look at. I should look at the smaller places. When I happened to come to Tamil Nadu, then I decided that when I heard that you can get cashews for 400 and 300 and 500, whatever it is, then I wanted to understand how and what. It is not just the quality or not how they sell it, but also what is the perception of the people to buy such things and on what grounds they are buying such things. So for us to understand that participatory observational research is the key word that we use in anthropology. So I tried in the past 1 month, we tried our best to understand the business, understand the consumption, understand the governance patterns and all that. You have councils, nuts and whatever councils, some export council has been created in 55, how they function and who is the chairperson of that council, what have they achieved, and so many things, small bits and bits. So this participatory observational research, which gives us revealing insights, and that is majorly to understand the customers. You should understand today, everything is dependent on 50% of the human behavior. Everything is dependent on the human behavior, and 50% of the human behavior is dependent on the culture that you have been brought in. What we mean by culture is that not the set of norms. Beyond the set of norms, what do you think, how do you perceive, and how do you react to it is what we call it as culture. Anthropologists do not judge culture. There is no good culture, bad culture. You understand? It is all the culture. The culture is that whether it is good for your health or not, you have to have a lunch. You have to have a siesta or just relax after a lunch, right? So similarly, we need to understand the culture behind the person's behavior. So doing successful business today, how does it matter? Most of the things which I would have covered, probably everyone had said this in the past 2 or 3 days. I could see that especially Gen Z capturing some of the aspects which I wanted to cover, and I was very happy about it. But you can see it is being summed up in a professional way in this slides which is yet to come. So we believe, in today's world, anthropologists believe, that these 4 are the major reasons how you can do successful business today. It can apply to anything and everything. The word experientialism. That is, when I buy this product or service, or when I experience this, what do I feel? Do I feel good? Do I feel elated? Am I happy to do this? Second, does it have whatever standard it may be, this is the standard that you have to define, category-wise. Or does it have quality? Whatever quality A, quality B, quality C, and so on. And please understand, experientialism is something to do also with not the real factors, but also because of the communication explosion. People know everything about everything. When I took a product from Bangalore and I went and gave it to my children, my neighborhood children said, "Oh, uncle, this cashew is the prime, the best that you can get in the market." That was a 6-year-old child which said this. I asked her, like, no, I saw it when I saw the package, I immediately tried to understand it from Google, and this is what I learned. This is how communication explosion has ensured that what will happen and how it will happen. And practically, please understand the word experientialism. The then is happinomics. Are you happy doing it? Economically, are you happy? And does that make sense to it in a longer run, if not immediately? Is it delighting you, keeping you convenient? If you notice that today, the Gen Z, they have all spoken about it indirectly or directly about it. They need convenience. They don't want to come all the way. Work from home is the most convenient thing. They ask for it today and join the companies only if such convenience is there. And other aspects, not only that, you can talk about happinomics in a very big way. Even the sadhus, the so-called spiritual gurus, they have adopted these concepts, which is experientialism and happinomics. You can all see. Unless otherwise you have a dance program, you have a delightful lunch, you have something to merry. Nobody wants to go and attend those Shivratris or Shiva programs. So I have seen it in person, and I have also been involved a little bit in those things, designing those things, including that structure. So then the sharing economy. It matters a lot. Why did this, resorts being bought, Sterling those days? I mean, shared resorts. And today you have Zostel. I'm sure that you would have known about Zostel, the concept of staying for 4 hours, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, and those kind of things. And the common offices that we build today. All that happens is based on the concept called sharing economy. You may ask me a question like, how am I seller of cashew or a creator of whatever brand for cashew is to do with sharing economy? We need to explore that. But definitely all these concepts has to be there when you design and position a product. So community matters. That is where we come. Community matters. You cannot think that cashew is only for those who are rich and powerful. Then we will definitely fail, I guess. It has to be for common man too, at an affordable way. Affordable way doesn't mean that the cost is cut or discount is given and the lower quality is given. Affordable way is something like you make sure that it reaches people probably in small pouches, probably as a medicinal health concept of value, whatever it is. So what I mean to say is that, the concept of sharing economy has to be there, and it should not be when it comes to logistics or distribution, it should not be much of a burden in managing. I believe that from the anthropological view, in another 10 years, you will not have middleman, distributor, dealer, unless otherwise some vested interest is going to control something in this country. This is what we believe. So no burden on managing. Please take that into account. Access, but not ownership. They want access, they want to decide, but they don't want to take ownership, not in the negative way, but in the positive way. They don't want the burden, headache. And why shoulder only me? If you are going to enjoy the benefits of marketing, sales, whatever, scaling up, or the quality, product, then not only the manufacturer should enjoy, right? Today, manufacturers don't enjoy the benefits, mostly, only the middlemen enjoy. But what I mean to say is that everyone should shoulder it. That's what we mean to say by sharing economy. Then, last but not least, very serious, unless otherwise, a product, what I mean by sustainability in this category is that we are big in terms of providing opportunities for employment. We are big in terms of from the environmental point of view. And I'm talking about from the cashew point of view. Cashew producers angle. So unless otherwise we take care of this aspect, sustainable aspect, environment aspect, we ignore that. Probably we have ignored. That is what I understand from the theoretical background that I searched into. We have not been bothered about whether cashew can be, trees are really good to grow, and whether we have taken care of the employment and all that. I am not sure. I am not trying to comment here. All that I am trying to say is that probably in future, we should ensure that cashew business should also take care of future of mankind. And whatever we do, it should be logical and minimalistic, not wasting anything that can harm the earth. So some of the aspects which I am sure that you all know, but what we have found, India is the largest consumer. I think I am right on that, 40%. Mostly sold as unbranded commodity. There's no doubt about it. Are we ready for brand experiences? I'm not trying to cut and paste here. I have understood the nuances and intricacies involved in cashew business and available facts and figures, and tried to present a case that this is where we stand and this is what we should do. So that is summed up in my presentation, so I want you to take note of this. Are we ready for branded experiences? Yes, because the country is maturing, the economy is maturing, the crowd is maturing, and we do have enough of communication channels and intelligentsia. We do have also the infrastructure to do that, and there is a need for this particular industry to get into it. For example, I'm giving you all this because the two lines also mean to say all this, what I am trying to say. So, are we ready for branding experiences? Yes, we are ready. And minimal recall in cashew category among food. See, some of them in the Gen Z category, whoever spoke, did mention that people don't remember, people don't see. I still can say very clearly, I can say being a branding expert, I worked with Nielsen in various different companies. Unless otherwise, I know you, a few of you personally, that is different, but otherwise speaking, there's no single cashew brand that I can recall and say that these are the best in the market or this is available in the market, which is from India or which is from the US and all that. All that I know is we buy cashew all the way from Costco, probably which is going from Bangalore. We don't have something readily available in Chennai or Bangalore for us to buy. It is available, but unfortunately we don't know. So, minimal recall in cashew category among food. All the rest, you name it chips, we know that this is the best chips. We know the badam which is best. We know Biscuits, we know the best, but we don't know what cashew brand is best. Today is price driven, tomorrow it should be branded and value driven. How do you ensure value, or how do you take the value to people? Only through your brand, only through stories, only through positioning. And how do you back it? When all of you spoke and all of you are aware of it, but I don't know what Cashew Council or Cashew organizations has done for it. I have heard all along in my life, I'm 55 going to be, and that cashew is not good for health, but I have been consuming cashews for the past 40 years, left and right. My father is a civil servant. I am an anthropologist working for multinational companies. Wherever you go, they give you cashew as the first food or whatever, knick-knack, snack. Thank God I have not got into, I have little bit of cholesterol, but not much of cholesterol. And I eat cashew a lot. But I have been told all along by everyone, doctors, everyone, probably paid, whatever not. But basically, badam is good, cashew is not good, the kind of stories, which is fact. So we need to break that. That is very important, I feel, extraordinarily important. That is one of the take-homes for all of you. And we need to also, see, there is a novelty aspect to cashew, but at the same time, it is also believed that it is an expensive and once in a while use kind of product. We should also break that. And we need to also have to shift from traditional use to cultural and emotional, which is happening, which is a part in India, but it has not gone to the extent that it should be used. So that emotional quotient, which also somebody spoke about, has to be kindled. That is what I feel. The word lifestyle and wellness positioning was used by someone just before me. So that is very important. This is just, I'm just summing up the facts. And what holds us back? What is holding us back? Why we have not done it? One, lack of consumer insight. I have not seen any papers discussed here or in any of the conferences about consumer insight about cashew. Probably here and there some talks were there, but beyond that the paper submissions has not happened. That's what I could see. And it is still in the perception that it is luxury than everyday meal. You all will agree to me. Not because of the cost. So many other food items are not considered as luxury. It is considered as everyday food, despite being costlier or I mean not cheaper. And limited investment in storytelling. I think many of them insisted on that. Nothing has happened in storytelling, packaging design, except for few. You have started Happilo, I could see, Kalbavi sir, we could see, and Bolas, and you have all started now, but I couldn't see much of packaging, and even in the packaging, you don't have a story, you don't have an attraction and all that, which is what I'm seeing. So we have to do storytelling, packaging, redesigning, and I also saw fragmented supply chain. The supply chain is in the hands of few and in a very controlled way. And do we have fairness? Do we have openness? Do we have access to everyone in the supply chain? I'm not sure about it. This is my study. Please refute and give me inputs after we complete this so that I can have a better understanding. So, and regional distribution bias, which I have found in the system. So, we do have a business case for rethinking. Over 40%, see, this has nothing to do with cashew, but how the business is today. 40% of Fortune 500 companies in 2003 is no longer there. Within 20 years, they vanish. 50% vanishes. So that means fortunes change, things change, economy changes, the way and outlook changes. And what's happening globally, not only in Europe or America, in Asia too, increasing disposable incomes, aging population, and communication explosion is happening, which is actually contributing to the pattern of thinking, pattern of consuming, pattern of spending. All these three changes. So people may, if you do the right positioning, people may eat cashew for breakfast every day, for example. Or they will be in a position to eat cashew for breakfast. And 75%, please understand this is a proper report, 75% do not care for brand disappearance. Don't rely or be happy that you are the branded product, you will do well in life. Or neither you feel bad that, oh, already Badam has done well, or Pista has done well, why should I bother? Or Kellogg's is doing well in Indian market or the world market. Why should I reposition and reinvent the wheel and trouble myself to spend money on that? All that doesn't matter because 75% do not care for brand disappearance and 60% brands disappear. 40% too, this is a little old data, 40%. So 50% of the Fortune 500 companies also disappear. And Gen Z applies logic and they think differently. You could see the way the program was conducted from yesterday to today, and one group, the next generation now, what did they speak about? You could see a big difference. The way they spoke about things and they presented themselves. So they think differently. And please understand, with the disappearance of many things like, disappearance of joint family, disappearance of non-educated family-related business within the family, and with the education that we are providing, reversal of individualism and intrinsic thinking has happened. This is all concepts which we understand from the anthropological perspective. I request you to just dwell upon for a minute or a few minutes on this, which will change the perspective of the world, which will change the perspective of thinking, and it gives a lot of scope for not only Cashew as a business, but also as a responsibility to the nation and humankind, which is very crux of the issue. Because I don't know, I have not studied about pistas and badams and the processes, but I understand Cashew has a difficult process according to my understanding after interacting with you, and we have a big social responsibility in it too. So that is the key part which we have to think about. So simple things which you may be knowing. I just wanted to present it here so that we don't sleep. Our life itself is nothing but narratives. How do you dress yourself? How do you present yourself? What kind of perfume that you wear? And how you talk to people and so on. Similarly, Kellogg's and breakfast. Breakfast was not there in any country. We had 2 meals and we never had a concept called breaking the fast in the morning. They wanted business, they wanted to get into a new area, they wanted to innovate. They created the cereal business. You know, that is how breakfast came into existence in America, and we are following to a certain extent in India and today in the rural India too, having these kind of stuff. And Burgers for Table was created by Kellogg's, in fact, to make sure that the employees are productive enough without spending more time in the cafeteria. They wanted, I love it, having worked for American companies 20 years and being in Bangalore, the best way of having lunch, nutritional lunch, I'll not call it as junk when compared to some of the things which we eat here, unless otherwise we are selective in eating. If you have to eat everything what an Indian kitchen provides, then you will be dead in no time. So one burger with good meat portion or a vegetarian portion with a little bit of vegetable, which can be had in 12 minutes is what we have, anthropologists have come to a conclusion. 12 minutes in between the program, your routine schedule from morning to evening, gives you the best of nutrition at the easiest way and simplest way without creating much odor and problems. So this was identified, positioned, and you know what's happening in the world. Majority eats this for breakfast lunch than anything else. And it's extraordinarily important to understand this. As we all know, I'm sure that those who are 50 plus, coffee and tea drinking was a luxury and was not much in the rural areas before. Until British came, tea was not even in India to a certain extent. Here and there it was there, but not as a regular consumption drink. And this was all because of British. I'm not sure whether you know the background of tea drinking and coffee drinking. I'll just explain that. In Chaucer's England, I'm talking about history of English literature and English. In Chaucer's England in 1700s, they used to actually think what to do. I mean, men used to have no work. That is before industrial revolution, but agriculture was prosperous and they started, what do you call, dominating other countries, and the economy was actually in a good shape. They had enough of food supply. They didn't know what to do, especially the men after 11 o'clock in the morning, they didn't know what to do. So they wanted to stay together, I mean, gossip. They want to spend time together in common places, the so-called clubs. And that was the time that English started exploring tea and coffee wherever it was. I mean, from Colombia, from China, and all these places, and started slowly to what do you call, consume tea and coffee with different names and different times and different flavors. So at that point of time, you won't believe, there was no communication, there was no need for communication unless otherwise government wants to say something. So they communicated only through coffee clubs. Gossips happened, relationship happened, friendships flourished. So many things happened in coffee clubs and tea clubs. That is, I'm talking about the Chassis, England, which is 1740-20 to 1800. Then came into existence the coffee and tea drinking and the cafes. And it slowly percolated to other countries. And unfortunately or fortunately, some of the third world countries didn't pick it up in the way that it otherwise economically should have happened. Starbucks brought in a different concept where you can spend time in the coffee cafes and gossip or do whatever business. And in India, in one of biggest brands of India, from Bangalore, wanted to introduce coffee and coffee cafes in India. They started working on these concepts to understand why people would prefer coffee and how that can be served and at what cost. For example, when we had coffee available in Bangalore for 5 rupees or 3 rupees, the brand introduced coffee for 80 rupees and it was made as a success. That could happen because of the branding, positioning, storytelling, and the conveniences that the coffee came with. Along with the coffee, whatever other conveniences you had, including ergonomics, including the colors that you saw in the coffee shop was instrumental in instigating to have coffee. Please understand. That is how we anthropologists looked at it, and that is how the successful brand was conceived and devised. This is the last in my category, the latest but. Peanut butter was never there. The Incas, the tribe Incas, they had beaten peanuts and they were eating it for a few hundred years. But it was never known to America. It was never consumed by America. An American doctor, the nutritionist and a cereal pioneer who is nobody but the Kellogg, he wanted to file a patent, which he filed, and out of peanut butter in 1895, and called it as the most delicious nut butter you ever tasted in your life. This stays put as positioning even today. So the intention is to capitalize on the growing, the crops. Basically, they wanted to create commercial crops. They wanted to create crops that can sustain the mankind. And they collaborated, and the cash crop, the peanut became the cash crop, and they have designed this so that it can be consumed and regulated. Last but not least in this category is avocados. This is a very recent story. You might have seen that some of the superfoods, mushroom for example, or broccoli, egg, and avocados are all called as superfood. I don't understand why we should not call cashew as a superfood, honestly speaking. When I dug into the details of cashew, the nutrition value and all that, I found it to be the best and easiest for Indians especially. And also you can preserve it for some time, no more than all this. And despite that, we have not positioned it so. Now you know that because of the narrative, the international narrative and the avocado organization, avocados are doing extraordinarily well. It has actually sought after in even the rural areas, which I see selling avocados. And it has become one of the staple breakfast or snacks in India. So with all this, why branding? Branding is key. Please understand that. Without which no product can be sold in future. There's no second thought about it, doubt about it. Growth engine for driving economics, professionalizing the business to make it legacy. Please understand that. How many cashew business companies or brands have survived in the past beyond a point? How many of them are listed? How many have been there for three generations? And how many of you are proud of saying that I am a cashew baron? So I feel that professionalizing the business to make it a legacy is very important, and continuation matters. Retail is going to be very big. Please understand that. We estimate, the world market estimates, retail is going to be extraordinarily big in the coming years. And the investment into retails is one thing which is not stopping. And the third very important thing, India is one of the biggest and beautiful markets for those who are eyeing at it. So capitalizing it is required for product positioning and brand positioning, without which you cannot do. Somebody else who will not be knowing what cashew is, who will not be knowing what cashew quality is, who will not be knowing how to process quality is, may end up, because of branding, being the lord of cashew, capitalizing this retail business, unless otherwise we intend to do so. So corporatized, please understand, corporatized doesn't mean that we have to become big corporations. Even with 5 crore, 10 crore, with professional approach, with branding, with quality being the functional aspect, focus on how you bring in profits, we can be a corporatized organization. So corporatized, globalized world, what I mean by globalized is the market is open. That is what I mean to say. Not necessarily only Tamil Nadu or only India or only 2 countries or 3 countries that we may be operating. If you have a brand, if you have access, or if you create access, definitely the whole world is our market. So globalized world will open more outlets, opportunities for FMCG. I'm not just making a statement here because that we want to do so. I have done some analysis how retail is going to be growing and how there will be an opening for a product like cashew and how things are changing in the globalized and corporatized world in today's market. So then sustainability can be ensured through only sustainability. We did speak about sustainability in a different angle, but here the sustainability in how we are ensuring sustainability for cashew. So can be ensured through the brand recall. Somebody mentioned that, I also spoke about it a few minutes back, and somebody also mentioned about there is no brand recall. So brand recall and holistic growth for all stakeholders should be there. What I mean by all stakeholders is those who are not only processors, but also growers, but also those who are also involved in cashew employment. And of course, the revenue for the government to get taxes from us. And also those who are the consumers who can be delighted with our product and the flavors or whatever the way we sell it. So that is very, very important, I feel, without which we cannot do. We lose it to our competition like Vietnam or Africa if they step in and try to do different things in front of us. And somehow or other, I also see, not because that I visited the places, with the data that we have collected, 95% are women involved in business. They are paid less than the lower, labor standards. And there is no enough good payment, salaries being deployed for those who are managing cashews. And even the, people, those who are involved in the business doing very well, the EBITDA is low, PAT is low, and so on. So put together, all that I felt is we have something, we need to focus on professionalism, where we can cut all the leakages, we can ensure that the higher quality and higher level of diligence is done. So service, value add will take places. Unless otherwise we do this, it will be difficult. And where I see a lacuna is supply chain and value to be in place. So please understand this so that we can grow over. So branding future for cashew. People buy stories. This is what an anthropologist can say. Ideas, emotions, and not products. We all know about it. Strong brand is instantly recognizable. How do we make that instantly recognizable as probably everyone knows about it, but still, we need to have a USP. It could be your quality of the product, it could be the way you present it, it could be your pricing, it could be your packing, It could be the story that you are trying to tell overall. So strong brand is instantly recognizable. Unlock the Indian customer. I feel that in India, we eat Kaju Katlis. I know how the Kaju Katlis are made. You all know better. In Delhi, how it is made. What kind of quality of, please correct me if I am wrong. What kind of quality of Kaju is used in Kaju Katlis, right? How it is treated in the process. And those treated means not the treatment of Kajus, how we handle the Kaju Katli. So what I mean to say is that unless otherwise, we look at the Indian customer as a valuable customer and also make them understand that we are giving them something good, something new, something different, something interesting in whatever way we are going to convey that. We have to do that. We need to do that to make sure that we see money. And how they perceive the product, how they trust, and how we become credible. And how do we influence them buying, and how do we justify the pricing? I somehow feel Indian customer is willing to pay if you justify the pricing. For sure, I am too sure about it. So that need to be done. So research and, see, someone has mentioned that we need to create a council and all that. I have also mentioned here. Research and understand rural urban consumer behavior. Consumer behavior for cashews, I don't see any reports here. For the cashews, you may have consumer behavior for many other products, but definitely it is not there. I am requesting again that if I have made anything wrong here, I want you to tell me so that I can get deep into it. So research and understanding rural urban consumer behavior for cashews is important. And before we craft a story, before we can think of a strong brand which can be recognizable, we need to understand this. This cannot be done by individuals or only companies, single companies. It has to be collective approach. And craft a story, define positioning values, and create a narration. We have not done any narration. I am not seeing anywhere. In fact, checked with some of the marketing research companies. I called them personally, A&B Research, who is into Nestle, Parle, so on. I called some other, Nielsen, and they said, like, we don't have any narration for cashew. I may be wrong. Someone else would have done it, because we are a fragmented world in terms of mindset today. So I'm not sure, but I am very clear that I couldn't find any narration. All that narration, what I could find with doctors and general perception is that cashew is dangerous for health. It can create heart attacks for you. Consume less cashew. This is what I have found it as narration. And someone spoke about vegan toe. Scope as vegan. I conceived this a month back, 15, 20 days back. Vegan has tremendous scope. We have enough of, people who wants to get into vegan and all that. And I see easiest solution for them is from cashew. Healthy fat. Nobody talks about healthy fat. They all talk about fat. They have given a lot of room for us to talk about healthy fat. And flavor pairings, which you are already doing, you have just started with whatever is available here. You can do so many other things. And festive ready to eat. We just give cashews, old, Purana cashews packed in some sachets coming from 1 or 2 cities from India and dumped on us as festive packs. That is what I see. The moment Diwali sweets come, half the thing is nuts and 75% off is not edible. You throw it. That is what is happening with at least my friends and myself, I can see. So how do we as an organization put together change, perception change management, ensure that good things go to them? Probably we need to replicate what 1 or 2 companies today do it. You do your own flavor pairings, pack it, make it into a Diwali gift pack and so on. And wellness concept, of course, we all talk about it. It is also, this is the line exactly taken from NIH study. It's good for heart as it has properties to lower LDL and increase HDL. And so many studies, small studies has happened, which I could also could have quoted, but I just restricted myself to one for want of time. And create perspectives, which is a very important word, please understand, from the branding angle. 360-degree insights-driven approach to make branding meaningful. See, branding is not just creating a logo, creating a design, and deciding that we will have this four different flavors and packing it and trying to sell with 40% margin in the market. It is beyond all that. You need to have a 360-degree approach, insight. Why cashew is consumed, why it should be consumed, who should it be given to, who should sell it, what will be the margin for this man, I mean in between, or the retailer and myself, and how do we make it sustainable, how do we take it to the rural masses, how do we make sure that those who cannot afford at this point of time can also afford because of these reasons, and all that has to be done. It is a simple job, provided there is a collective approach. And I'm sorry, my father is a civil servant. Don't trust government. Please do it by yourself. That will be the best prescription. Don't go by thinking that some government councils and organizations will do it. We have to do it for ourselves. And and finally what I'm trying to say is that create brands that India deserves, invest in market research, which I have not seen much happening. And I'm talking about the market research for the cashew, for the cashew's consumption, and for the masses to understand cashew. And consumer segmentation has not happened. You have generally pushed the product into market, and you have pushed all the products together saying that it is cashew. And I can, by my own, knowing all this, knowing some of you personally well, coming from Bangalore, having visited Costco and Mangalore factories, I still think that, okay, when I go to Kadalur or across Dindivanam, I'll try to pick up something for 300 and 400 for my Kaju Katlis. So this is the mindset, typical Indian mindset we have. So all that I'm trying to say is that this consumer segmentation has to happen. And approach should be given there. I mean, trust should be given there. And package for emotions and not just utility. We don't pack for emotions. Happilo is doing it. I don't know, someone from Happilo is here. So, but that's not enough. All of us, in a different way, with different stories, we need to do it. And just not utility, but also for emotions. And today, it is basically concept of taste. That is what India consumes for. And I feel it has to be dish by itself, and it has the quality to call it or to consume it or to term it as dish by itself. So I'm continuing that. Health factor is gaining importance. Health factor is gaining importance, which all of us know. Please understand, cultural, societal, global, individual shifts are happening. I can have a whole class. Culturally, we are thinking different. No more saying that cashew should be consumed only in the morning or evening, or cashew should be only for festivals, or cashew is only for rich. All that is going. Societal. See, it is not that only India consumes cashew, or it is not that only at a particular point of time we consume cashew, or it is taboo or not a taboo. Those kind of things are changing, and the access is for global. And individually also we prefer. For example, I didn't have my lunch today, purposely. The reason is I don't normally have my lunch. I got little tempted seeing the varieties, but then when you got into the details from the health perspective, I was scared. So I happened to request our friend to give me a coffee and also nibble on some, vegetables and come out. So individual shifts are happening. This was not possible those days because the availability, and also you need to do a program, so then you have to be prepared. All that thought process would have been there. Today it's changing. And that is prevention than cure, lifestyle, awareness, technology from the point of understanding the information or getting the information, also communicating whatever we want from the perception of the producers, and also using the technology for the good of productivity in the places or reachability in the places. And from the concept and thinking, mindfulness and balance, and the boon is Gen Z, who can understand all this because of this small instrument that we have. All that can help us in health, understanding the health factor is gaining importance. This, I just mentioned it as council, not with the exact nomenclature. I somehow feel there are fragmented organizations. If somebody can only, no other agenda, only agenda is to make sure that cashew is acceptable in the minds of people. That is the agenda. Some council for branding is done. It looks like it is the best thing that can happen. See, I did something for a software product where after we, through one agency, we tried to push certain things and we grew from $2 million to $323 million in 5 years. So I believe that with one focus and vision, create a vision, partner with retailers in digital format, create platforms and understand that you are not going to sell only kernels. It is a brand that is you are going to sell. And with that, you can capitalize and showcase India processing and consumption strength. I somehow feel we are not going to grow cashews forever in bulk that the world may demand or the market may demand. That is for sure. You are going to import, you are going to probably have some other alternates, but our strength is going to be in two areas, that is one is processing and the second is consumption. So we need to strengthen, showcase, and also hold that back with us. Profits matter the most. Somehow I see the profits are not up to the mark. And of course, any business cannot survive if you are doing a negative, what do you call, onset. So profits matter the most. I somehow feel you have an opportunity, not every other business, because you are starting now or you are in a way in a crux, what do you call, a dilemma situation where we can separate many things. So through ethical means, what I say by ethical means is that let us sell brands and export brands, collaborate the set high targets, high time to act. This is the story that I'm trying to, without compromising the values in terms of taxation, values in terms of providing employment, the quality of employment. Not necessarily you need to still have the same number of people to do the same number of volume or quantity, but you need to also ensure that they are given the best. So this is what I mean by saying profits matter the most and drive it through ethical means. 2 slides to go. Branding fundamentals for Cashew. I was thinking about it a lot. Like we are giving stories, gyans and all that based on facts and figures, but how do we finally come to a conclusion for you to understand? I always believe in business. Without excellence, achieving or what you call aiming at excellence, nothing can be successful. The path of working towards excellence is what can bring in success to the individual or what we are doing. As Tom Peters has said, without exception, the dominance and coherence of culture proved to be essential quality of excellent business. So you need to create a culture towards excellent, doing the business in an excellent way. That is what I mean to say. So how do we do that? People as key infra. I see a lot of people involved. And people doesn't mean only employees or what you provide as employment. People means directors. The person who is involved in the business, who has created the business, who is also the director, investor, everyone should do well, including the customers. See, somehow or other, in few businesses, for example, in a liquor business, you cannot say customers will be prosperous or doing well for life if they patronize us, right? So, in your particular product, I think that can happen. So, people ask key infra. Then, I just wanted to mention this. There are countries which depend on one product and they are very successful, economically and socially and culturally successful. Denmark, for example, I mentioned milk. Sweden, we know AICA and the products. And let us not go to Sweden and Denmark. Namakkal, they produce 3 crore eggs a day. And they do extraordinarily well. 3 crores plus only in the town, and now I don't know the exact details. So we can do that in Kollam, in Bangalore, and still be successful. That's what I mean to say. And last but not least in this category, deploying social sciences is very important for today's business, which I think this particular category has missed out. Longevity will increase from 80 to 100 by 2035, I'm sorry. 2035, now it's 80 and it will be 100 by 2035 is what they say. Resulting in lifestyle changes, social norms, building needs for it to sustain, including workforce, products, governance, etc. That means that the scope for being healthy, building yourself healthy is high, and that can be done through our product, and the product can ensure or offer that for the masses. and there is a scope for us to thrive. Finally, I didn't want to miss out. See, our product, when you do the branding, when you do the business, it has to have social labeling. We all mentioned about it, talked about it, but what I mean is totally is social labeling. That is to continue with employment generation opportunities, societal obligations such as farmer support, consuming the product, etc. That means you should not do anything unethical. We should not do anything to cut short the methods, anything to do compromise on our quality and standards. That's what I mean to say. So we are socially responsible, and social labeling should be there. And the cultural labeling. It is an ethical food already, please understand. Unfortunately, been tarnished by set of interests. So induce consumption patterns, they're also the small mistake, patterns that enhances value for people. And I don't know about much of discussion on environmental labeling, that is carbon footprints and all that. So we need to also look into it from the societal angle, that is from the collective angle, to ensure that it has environmental labeling too. And if the brand is done with these areas being addressed, we have more strength, more ammunition to enter the market and be successful. This is my thought for the day. Thanks for your patience. I'm open to questions. I've just also given I do run two companies, one into branding and the other one into consulting, based at Bangalore. And we have done more work with multinationals than India. And welcome anytime for questions, and even now. Thank you so much.
Hello, sir. Good afternoon. This is Ashish Saluja from Raya Enterprises. So, a bit of confusion. Like attending this session, I'm a bit cleared about the branding essentiality. Branding is the most important buzzword to be in the market. But I'm a bit confused. How should I brand positioning is the main thing. Where should I position my brand? At the mass market or niche market? Because these are two different segments. Which you think is more profitable for a cashew processor to establish its brand in mass market means it is accessible to all, सबके लिए. Or niche market, like we have attended last session also about the Zenith speakers. Karina was saying about the lamp coating and all these coating. That product is positioning as niche market. We know that being a youth population is very much in India, and around 65%, and the purchasing power is also very great. So, which is more profitable, to go in the niche market or mass market? I'm a little bit confused about that.
Thank you for the question. So I would see market is market, and we have to get into the history. Like any business, the motive is profit. There's no second thought about it. So that is ensured. Ensured in the sense like you have to ensure. Whatever you do, you need to get the margins. Number two, what am I comfortable with? Approaching the mass market or the niche market? And how do I? What is my product? And for example, that if you really look into the cashew as a typical example, you do have products in bulk for mass market than the niche market. The quality, the way logistics is done, supply chain is managed, and those kind of things. So if you want to stand out, how do you stand out in that particular market? How do you ensure that you are differentiating yourself in that particular market, and what is your USP? For example, your USP is only the supply chain, for example. It could be only the supply chain, not even the product. So the supply chain I see that's happening already, that's why I'm mentioning about it.
In processor point of view, sir, I'm processing the cashew kernels, and processor point of view, if I want to establish my brand, should I go with the mass market or should I go with the niche market?
I'm not getting you, sorry.
Yeah, I'm a processor.
Okay.
So, as attending this session, branding is most important thing. I want to establish a brand of my product. That's very much clear to me. But should I go with the mass market and
That's what.
or
There is,
the
there is
smart?
nothing which is right or wrong. What I mean to say is that, what's your vision? I want to address the mass market with the highest, what do you call, profits. Then probably what is your vision and how do you implement that vision? What I mean by vision is that, like, you may have a feeling that, yes, I should address the mass market. I am not bothered about this niche market which consumes, I'm just giving you some figures, 2 tons a day. I want to process 20 tons a day and sell it and still make profits. Then how do you differentiate in the existing category? And how the branding can help out of it? You understand? So that's why we say branding is not just logo or positioning in the market. That is beyond that, historical differentiation, vision of your company, the individual founder, the market strength, geography strength, so many things are involved. If you ask me directly, yes, you can do both ways when make money. It is all how you approach from the branding perspective.
Hi, I'm just Joseph. I'm representing Synergy Quality. So it's not a query, but a suggestion maybe for AICA also. You have highlighted about branding, how it's really required, and you have touched based on maybe cashew is not too healthy, it can cause heart attack. That's a myth that is always there. And in the previous session, people were saying that until millennials are consuming cashews a lot, but the newer generations are not consuming cashews and all. So just a suggestion for AICA, if we can create a vision statement to make cashew, it's a healthy product, make it visible. Maybe one example I can propose is like a social media marketing, making cashew as a really healthy product. It can be, so that the consumption can be increased from the next generation onwards. So that's something that can be brought in, and we have to have some funds for with the vision for the next 10 years. So something that maybe that's a proposal that I wanted to give it.
Fantastic. Thank you.
All right, then let's call it a day. Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a round of applause